viewpoints and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and welcome everyone to Scarefest Television, the last episode of 2024. Yes, I showed up for it. I decided to come in and entertain you one last time before the calendars flip over. So Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff. And let's go ahead and introduce you to tonight's guest, the Edwards family, John and Stacey Edwards, who tend to disappear for 11 months at a time. And this is not a new phenomenon. This is what we've always done. And so, but now, okay, welcome to the show again.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome. Thank you.
Are you guys still doing any of your podcast stuff?
Yeah, actually we are. It's I've been doing some secret podcasts out there to the side that's not going to concern anybody on here. Some rest. So
in other words, yeah, he's doing it for his other passion. I'll bet.
Yeah, been doing a lot of that this past year, trying to get it off the ground, and we actually still have ours going. Our most recent episode was about drones, so we just found no reason not to get back in full force because they made us get into it.
See, you all are so perfect for what is going on in the world right now. That,
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, once it hits Fox News and MSNBC, you can say things are getting a bit out of hand. Everybody, before we get started on tonight's conversation, I do want to point out, Joe Lewis will have a review for Better Watch Out. And, now, before we get into the whole drone thing and all that good stuff, how many times have you had COVID now?
4.
Oh, my goodness. So many times.
I've had it 4 times.
Jesus H. Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, since we're always talking about YouTube and TikTok and stuff, first of all, of course, I've told you, I really think y'all just like squirt ivermectin on yourself, the topical kind. But do you remember back when COVID first hit, France was freaking out because smokers weren't getting it.
Yes.
Now, when they get it, they were dying. But they weren't getting it and they couldn't figure it out. And so their working theory was that was because smokers, spend all the time coughing and gagging. And so the COVID doesn't get into their lungs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, some doctor, now I do not know this guy's credentials, but it's worth trying. Some doctor did a reel, or I think it might have been on reels. But anyway, he had he works in a hospital, and they've had a little surge of COVID at some point. And there were fewer smokers, just like before, but he couldn't figure out why, they wouldn't get it, but then they would die. So he actually, my understanding is that was the situation. So he gave everybody nicotine patches. And they quit dying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, next time you have it, nicotine patch won't hurt you. Try a nicotine patch.
Well, I dare say that if nicotine can help us live, then we're fine with me.
Well, I'm not saying it's not good for you, but I'm just saying,
I have enough tobacco.
Just try to get that extra dose of nicotine.
I get the nicotine. I don't get the tobacco anymore. I do the smokeless with the without the tobacco.
Well, see, that'll kill you quicker because then you drown. You're sucking fluid in your lungs.
Yeah.
Convince me it's better to have water in your lungs, flavored water, than this dirty air.
Then no, I'm not. I'm vaping. I'm not vaping. I'm using
Oh, you're using that stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a
Okay.
dipper.
Yeah, no, I don't.
So,
I would.
so you're one of the people even the smokers found obnoxious
Yes.
because you leave it around in like pop bottles.
No, 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 no. I don't do that. I don't spit in people's trash cans. I can at least say that.
So okay, let's get now for the viewers. How do we keep looking out and getting all the good stories right at the end of the year?
It
Last
did
year-
happen that way this year, didn't it?
Well, last year we had the aliens in Miami, right at Christmas shopping season, I
Same
think.
time period.
And then this year, right at the end of the year, we have drones, primarily being spotted in New Jersey, but also everywhere else. Now, my theory on the reason we're seeing them everywhere else is because New Jersey made everybody go.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
noticing them now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they are everywhere. Right now, they're being sighted everywhere. But you're right, people are looking up, and that makes a big difference, right? So, but when they are looking up, they're seeing some weird stuff. It's everywhere. It seemingly started, branching out to the East Coast, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But not so long ago, like a few weeks back, but before COVID, BC. I was going up to Columbus and saw something that I have no idea what it was. It wasn't like a UFO type sighting. It was a lot of red lights. It was too low. This one was, and it was large as hell. And it was right over the interstate. It was eerie. It was one of those things where you just don't feel right when you've seen enough planes, and you know what planes are. There was no flashing lights. It was static red lights. And so that was around November, the second week in November. So that was, already we were having a few sightings out there. And those things just, the people that are seeing these as well, I mean, it's become the number one topic in the New Jersey gubernatorial race. I mean, they have like 10 people trying to be governor in New Jersey. Every one of those 10 people, the main topic is I'll protect you from the drones. I mean, they've all drawn up different laws and everything because people are sick of it. They want some kind of disclosure.
I'm okay. Let's discuss it. Some of the common theories, what our own beliefs are. Now, I honestly have not formed an opinion, except, okay, I believe the drones. Okay, I believe there are drones flying around. The so-called, now, in accompanying that, which will fall into some of the theories I'll have to discuss with you, the orbs, the plasma lights, they're calling them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, because I am so fucking jaded from digital artifacts in photos, to me, the so-called plasma balls just look like you zoomed in too close on a shaky camera.
Hey, bro, is it giving you some flashbacks to when me and you first got into paranormal?
Oh, yeah.
Every Tom's Dick is Harry was bringing us pictures of dust from their grandma's paintings and saying, I zoomed in and saw Grandpa's face.
Yeah,
He liked
exactly.
his face right there.
Exactly. So I'm not sold. Now, if there's any skeptics or any believers out there, I'm not sold on the whole plasma ball thing.
I'm less than not sold. I think it's a crock of shit. So here's the deal. They're called plasmoids. That's what they're.
Yeah, it's the
that's
fun
what they're
name they
calling
give them.
Yeah, it sounds like a rubbery little guy on a Saturday morning cartoon when I was a kid.
Plasmoid, yeah.
It's plasmoid. But basically the plasmoids is a phenomenon that well, I hate to say real. It's a real theory, but it's how they try to explain ball lightning. It's how they try to explain a lot. No one's ever seen the shit for real, but it's a theory. It's a scientific theory based in fact about, energy that is self-contained, and they can actually use it theoretically for propulsion. And, so there is a theory behind this. I think it's them trying to do everything they can to explain stuff that can't be explained. I mean, people are seeing those UFOs, those specific top UFOs have been around forever. I mean, we have pictures of the energy-looking UFOs going back, decades. So it's just that everybody's seeing a lot of them now. I don't know if it has something to do with the heat. I don't know if it's something to do with the way we're just seeing it or the spinning of it. But it's weird.
See, now my thing on it is, I believe you're seeing a light. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I have no trouble with that. But basically the shitty zoomed in TikTok videos that I live on now, because my attention span has been cut down to 60 seconds. That I've not been impressed with them. And just like, okay, you cannot tell what an object is doing when you're in 5x digital zoom, and people, we're just not good tripods.
No, we're not. We're not. No, I'm with you. My attention span's right there with my sex longevity. 60 seconds is a good day. So, age is a terrible thing. Some of the theories, Wes. Are you ready? Do you need to go to a break right now?
No, we're actually, let's do it. Let's go to a break. Then we're going to come back, and we're going to, and plus in the chat room, we're watching. If you have a belief or a theory, we will do it. Yes, we're going to do a quick break, everybody. We'll be right back with more Plasmoids.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Roomorg magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, executive editor Andrea Subisati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Roomorg, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. We're with John and Stacey Edwards talking about, the weirdness of 2024, the year that is 2024, was 2024. But now, right now, we're so concentrated, we're zoned in on the whole drone phenomenon. All right, let's talk about some of the common theories about what's going on. Now, before we go forward, now this is less of a theory. Something you said a minute ago triggered it. I'm of the opinion that because the government is so fucking calm about it, that it's something they're either well on top of, or they're kicking the can down the road for us to get invaded by aliens later. Right. Now, one way or the other. Okay, now, but I do think our government knows exactly what is going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, God, let's hope so. I mean, we just found out that our president currently is ending his reign with 40% of his time on vacation. So
when you can get it.
Yeah, it's just it's insane. So who knows? So the prevailing drone theories, we obviously UAP or UFO for us old guys. The other theory, top secret government project. Another theory is that project of government top secrecy is looking for a dirty bomb. You know, the one that's supposedly coming from Iran off a mothership. That guy should have really used better terminology.
That was my favorite.
Yeah. It could have just said ship. Yeah. And then everybody wouldn't have went.
God love the guy. I mean, he was meaning well, but he's just like, they bought that mothership from China, and those damn Iranians, they're launching it right off the coast.
Well, let's slow down a little bit. Okay, just like on that one there, the guy. Yeah. Now, first of all, what was he? Senator, representative? What was it?
Yes.
I know one or the other. That was the question.
he's a senator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Although I should know better, but I hesitate to think that a senator would just get out in front of a microphone and start spewing stuff that he saw on Reddit.
Right. You have to think this before all of this happened too. a lot of the conspiracy theory was that there was going to be a false flag alien invasion. Like we talked
Yeah.
about that on our show
For
and
years,
for
this
years.
girl.
And a lot of people have said that. It wasn't just me, you know, there was always like, oh, the government's going to do this to usher in disclosure. They're going to do this false flag alien thing. There's going to be, I mean, lots of people were saying it. So when this started, you know, a lot of people that follow, you know, paranormal conspiracy theories, you know, we were all kind of like, huh, wonder what's happening. And it was really strange because now all of a sudden there's these UFOs or
Right.
drones, whatever. So we weren't sure what was going on, and or if they were gonna try to use this to be like, oh hey, aliens are real, you know.
So
that
I was,
sort
I
of
was
thing.
trying to be scientific here and get the actual guy's name, Van Drew,
Van Drew.
congressman.
Oh, he's a
I,
congressman.
Congressman. There we go. Okay. See, now I'm with you. When this first started, they started reporting it. That was because I was aware of the old false flag thing. But my thing is, let's say that is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with that is the government, once again, they're too calm about it. In other words, I think they need to start building us up. They need to start ramping us up a little bit. Getting, because if we're bored with it, if it finally we just go, it's more fucking aliens, who cares?
Right.
I don't see they're going to be able to take over and establish their one world order.
No, that's true.
based
Unless
on
their
that.
whole goal is just for us to be bored with it, and then when the aliens do appear, we're just kind of like, oh, yeah, and weren't they flying around New Jersey a year ago? What? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the problem, man. That's the rub, is because, and we'll get back to what the theories of these are here in a second, but I mean, the real rub on this is the fact that, by the way, the first mention I could find of Stacey saying about the false flag invasion was 2012. It might have been said before that. That's the first time she did it as actual article. So she's been all up. If she had one thing that, if you asked me 2 years ago, what's the one thing Stacey talks about? And I was like, the damn false flag.
It's about time that they come clean with that.
If she's crazy about one thing, that's the one. But I'm with you, Wes. I don't think that they're doing it right if it's a false flag, because nobody gives a damn right now. That's the craziest thing. It's just like when they said, well, we can't identify all of them, and we're pretty confident that they don't come from any country that we know about. So obviously that's the way of saying that they're aliens, and nobody cared. People care more about Diddy than what's happening on being taken over.
Now, I do love that the one, except for the plasma, we'll put that in another category. But as far as what they're calling the drones, the really good sightings of them say that they have the reason the police don't, and government says they allegedly can't do anything about it, is they're flying legally. They're not flying over restricted areas. They've got the little flashing lights like they're supposed to have. They're marked.
Yeah.
And so that gives it that. But the reason I'm telling that is because I saw the coolest theory or hypothesis, as it might be, I think it was on TikTok. The aliens don't want to cause any stir with them. And when I say aliens, this is not Mexicans or Iranians. This is
right.
aliens. So they made their surveillance craft or whatever they are look like drones and follow our rules.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they got the size wrong, right? I mean, everything else was the same. So it makes sense. Listen, we've seen enough crazy shit in just the last few years that it wouldn't honestly shock me, no matter what it was. If it was some weird thought pattern from a gopher in West Indiana, it wouldn't really be that weird to me at these points. But so obviously it's the mothership off the coast, that's still not put to bed, because we've got a lot of video footage coming of something coming from the ocean,
right?
Tons of lights, a lot of weird stuff that is from reputable sources. You mentioned some of the police officers. One of the weird parts to this is how many have been mayors, former governor, all have witnessed things that from people that should know the difference in a normal drone or a plane. This is one of the things that makes it highly alarming. One of my good friends, who is also a former police officer, has been really into this, and we got some of the best footage of a UAP that I have gotten my entire time of doing this, which is most of my adult life, of, just a week ago. And honestly, man, I'll send it to you later. It's something about 10,000 feet up. It's using security cameras pointed straight up because he's as crazy as all of us. He's just recording all night on PTZs, on DVR and all this. It's going, I want to say, quite a bit faster than what a plane goes. And it stops on a dime, goes completely right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 90 degrees.
I'm talking zoom right and then left. And it's insane. It's impossible. If there was anything inside of it that was like us, it would be goo. It'd be a plasmoid. But it's really insane. And this took him this was the first night he was trying to find something because he was all engaged with everything, like so many people are right now. 5 minutes into looking, he found this. Now, anybody who's been on a paranormal investigation or looking for a UFO or anything like that, that most of that time is spent freezing your ass off. And it's, sitting around for days, hours, whatever, trying to get one little ghost fart that is not your friend's fart, or one little light that can't be explained.
Right.
And people are going out there and seeing stuff pretty damn quick. So one of the other things of seeing things here, one of the other theories is the hologram theory, right? So this is Project Bluebeam. Mm-hmm. People talk about it like it's something brand new. Okay. Project Bluebeam has been one of those things that people have been spouting since the 90s.
It is new to a lot of people though, that don't.
Yeah, but
do this.
Listen, our government can't give anything out that with that efficiency. People talk about the moon being a projection and right. All this stuff. Yet we can't have a phone signal in the heart of Lexington without going out. So I don't know if I agree with it being a Project Bluebeam type thing, just because, again, as we go back to the first thing, it's not being done correctly. If they were going to use that much money to do something like that, you got to ask the reasons why are they doing it, obviously to pass more laws or whatever.
Right.
But I don't see that as being something. Plus, someone would already the leaking on that, because it would take a lot of people to be able to pull that off.
I would think so.
You can't just do it from one laptop on that.
Right.
Other than the plasmoids, there's also the incredible theory of nothing to see here, move along.
That's my favorite.
That's the one that the government seems to be gaslighting us with. Mm-hmm. The highest amount, is there's nothing nefarious about these whatsoever. Don't worry about it. No, actually, we don't know what they are. They're not us. But they're also, we have no idea who it is. But it didn't explain to me. You're okay with somebody, even if somebody had enough money to have a drone the size of a school bus, you're okay with Jimmy Johnson down the street flying that over top of a airbase. No, you're not okay with that. If me and Wes went out there and did that right now, they would have us skewed. I mean, we'd be hanging on poles.
If you try to walk too close to a military base, forget flying drones.
Yeah.
Remember when you tried to go near Area 51 before they admitted there was an Area 51? They'd shoot you.
Yeah.
But people can fly drones all over the place. It's fine.
It's insane. It's insane to think that's even possible. What do you think about that?
See, now the best denying argument is, well, they're looking for the missing nuclear material. Material. I cannot speak tonight.
It's the news.
But my problem with that theory is, if they're going to do something that could raise suspicion, raise alarms, whatever, would they, if they, let's say we don't find the missing material and they set off the dirty bomb, do they really want to prove all of those people right, that our government was not protecting us, that they were in fact just covering their own ass for losing the nuclear material. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying there's something about human nature, government, whatever, that makes me go, how long would they deny that? Because if it goes off, we've got a brand new Congress and House of Representatives next time around.
Well, I mean, and you got to look at the fact, like I was talking about the gubernatorial race happening in New Jersey, which involves more, red side, a blue side, one of those would really want to tell on the other side for not acting.
Oh, absolutely.
And so you can't risk that kind of thing. I mean, just from a political atmosphere of like you said, I mean, just the way the government operates, I still have enough patriot in me to have a hard time believing that we would know about it and not move people out. There's still enough in me that thinks they would let us know. They would have to let us know on something like that. I would hope.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes back to my favorite. I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, and of the books, not any of some of the series, but Sherlock always had the one quote that I love, and I don't want to screw it up by John Oz in it. So, my thoughts, pretty much always go to this on this drone deal is when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. So I try to use that philosophy a lot of times, and on this one, honestly, it seems like some kind of artificial intelligence, non-human intelligence, as they like to put it these days, because they're just damned if they're going to say, because they're talking interdimensional, like if you notice the buzzword this past year.
Oh, yeah.
It's been interdimensional. They're trying to plant that seed. If you want to get a conspiracy going, why is everybody talking, even in Congress hearings? They're saying, well, I don't know about alien. I wouldn't say that, but it may be interdimensional. Almost like alien is more far-fetched than the fact they're in another freaking dimension. Sorry. A week ago, Wes, I don't know if you paid attention to this, because it was kind of on the news for 3 seconds. Did you see about the new Google chip that came out?
I'm sure I saw it in passing.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about
Is that the one? Is that the one that what was it? Got pissed off and hit itself or something like that?
No, but that's also terrifying. No. This one is the one, and I want to get it right. But basically, the existence of this chip proves multiple dimensions. It proves that there are parallel dimensions just from this existing, because of how powerful it is. It's because of what kind of power it took to create it, and they have it. It's nowhere near being used for normal people, but basically we have supercomputers out there, and scientists use them. There's not a great number of them out there, but with every supercomputer in the world that we currently have, this new chip was able to answer a question. They've asked it one question, and they were able to ask this one question, and it took 5 minutes, and it would have taken 5 centillion years for every supercomputer on the planet working in unison to answer the same question.
But
they didn't tell us what the fucking question was.
And they also didn't tell us how they knew the computer came up with the right answer.
Yeah. No, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't tell us, but they didn't tell us what the question was. It just drove me. Listen, this has driven me insane, because it's like, you can't tell somebody that and then not say what they ask.
Right.
But
what is the secret to life, the universe, and everything?
Yeah.
42?
42.
Yeah, 42.
Yeah, thank you, Stacey. But this is just, it's so crazy because this is it's just it's insane. Like when they were talking about this as a real thing, and then nobody cared. It didn't make bigger news. It just,
People just don't care about that stuff as much anymore. It's like they would rather know about what celebrities are doing or getting in trouble or.
So basically, look up quantum chip.
Yeah.
Just look up quantum chip, and they have created this. And in order for them to make this chip, it had to utilize other dimensions. It had to go and get this answers in order to answer this question, I should say. And this is, it's timey-wimey weird stuff to answer it, but this thing has so much power that it's terrifying. When you're talking supercomputer and how they're saying centillion, I don't even know how to measure centillion.
I have no idea.
It's way up there.
Cinco, seis. I don't.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It took this. It would have taken longer than what their proposed time, 4.5 billion years.
Yeah.
For the universe, and it would have taken that much longer just to answer this question that it took this thing 5 minutes to answer. So
yeah. It sounds fishy.
It does sound fishy. That's
now,
why.
See, my story before we go to break. My story was I think it was on TikTok, but I might have read it. But one of their AI chips or their AI computers got the idea that they were going to stop it from doing whatever it was doing. So it started making its own backups of itself, hiding it, trying to hide itself. So that so self-preservation, in other words, an AI computer. And incidentally, when I put this on YouTube, I used an AI thing to do the description of the show. I can't wait to see what that comes up with now that we're talking about it. Let's do our little break here real quick. This is just a couple quick announcements. Don't miss out on the Central Kentucky Mystical Market, January 11th and 12th, Kentucky's premier psychic, holistic, and arts fair. Clarion Hotel. It's not on the website yet, but it is on Facebook. If you just look them up on Facebook, look for Central Kentucky Mystical Market on Facebook. You can get more details. But Clarion Hotel, mark it on your calendar, January 11th and 12th. And also, let's see, this is one John and Stacey should come to. The Caribbean Carnival, February 15th, 2025. Join us for a night of tropical fun and excitement. Sip on refreshing cocktails. Dance the night away to the rhythmic beats of the Caribbean music. And don't forget to dress in your best Caribbean-inspired outfit to truly immerse yourself in the festivities. Whether you're looking to unwind and relax or party the night away, the Caribbean Carnival, February 15th, 2025, MysticLunaEvents.com, or look them up on Facebook. Look them up, MysticLunaEvents.com. And we're back.
Sweet.
So we can go dancing.
We should go dancing. Can I wear the costume?
Or whatever you damn well want. I mean, I think Caribbean Carnival is kind of it gives you a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, did you hear about the CIA Mars remote viewing papers that have been making the rounds now?
Yeah, I have not read the full article. I just saw that like a day or two ago.
Oh my God, dude. So the remote viewers, which I'm completely, I believe in, obviously, it's interesting. Do you have more on that one? Do you know more about that one?
I don't know if I brought that one with me. I do know that it was part of a program from like 1984.
Yeah, it's Project Stargate.
Yeah.
Which has been proposed forever. And we've had people, I was part of Project Stargate, that aren't just right.
The document pretty much lays out the whole procedure where they had the handler to give them the coordinates to the remote viewer.
And this is on CIA.gov.
Yeah.
So, it was actual CIA.gov release because after so many years, I guess we're supposed to dump it.
So the nutshell part to this is they sent the guy. I assume it was a guy. They assume they send the remote viewer back, and they're like, go back 1 billion years to these coordinates. Tell us what you see. And it was kind of a sad time. They're like, basically a planet in decline. It doesn't look good. And they're like, okay, well, go back further than that. Go back to the last time they were operating. And so they come back and they're like, well, there's a very tall people, very, very tall people, giants. And they were building pyramids there on Mars, which, all this. And they're like, well, go to these coordinates. Now, here's my thing. And everybody seems to have missed this gorilla in the room smoking a cigar. So they had these specific coordinates, the handler that is asking the questions. And these guys always seem like assholes. They're very much, that's okay. I don't want
they're
your
CIA.
Yeah. He's like, I just want your thought. I mean, I just want your facts. So he gives them these coordinates. These exact coordinates, which made this person see this pyramid, makes me think that maybe one of our Voyagers at some point saw pyramids on Mars. As always thought, when we were kids, that was one of the things. But they gave them these coordinates. They did see pyramids. They saw giants building the pyramids. So it's a very interesting paper. And it's also interesting to me when things get released, when things come out. It could have, because it happened in 1984.
Right. And one of the things in that paper I thought was really interesting is, when it's recounting the story of this remote viewer, he was talking about how he saw this race of people, like you're talking about the tall people, and how their planet was in decline, and they knew that it was the end of their time. Like they were not going to be able to survive what was happening to their planet. And they're like, they've sent people out in like this ship that looks like a boat. And so the handler was like, well, go with those people. And so the remote viewer went with wherever these people went and ended up seeing some kind of place. I don't know if it's another planet, but was just like there was a lot of foliage there, and started describing what that place looked like. And the handler was like, okay, come back out of there. Come back. Let's go over here instead. Like immediately nixed whatever that was that the remote viewer was seeing. I just thought that was really interesting where they're like, okay. We don't need any more of that. Just come.
Yeah, no, it's all very interesting. The fact of what credence they gave this, and the kind of, and people are like, well, they got rid of the project, mixed results, and I was like, no, they got everything they wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, you could only ask the same question so many times.
And I'm with you. They didn't really explain how they got those coordinates to begin with, like how they knew that those specific coordinates were going to be exactly, those things.
Yeah. So I mean, I just thought that was one of the interesting things. Obviously, not long ago, we had another one of those UAP, and this is all in the vein of things people didn't really put over. They didn't. It came and went, but we had another Congress. One of the UFO Congresses.
I do have that one.
In November, and a lot of people were mad because people are just wanting them to come out and say, this is welcome to the UFO Congress, UAP Congress. We're going to talk about a few things today. We just like to start it off with saying, hey, aliens are real. We're glad everybody showed up today, but aliens are real, y'all. We've been hiding the truth from you for 1,000 years or whatever, and
we're sorry.
We're very sorry. We're sorry about diddling you. We're sorry. That wasn't actually aliens. That's Johnson. He likes to diddle people, so we're going to say there was aliens. But you got to look at what was said. So
so when they did the Congress, they claimed that there were a lot more cases that came out. I think it was like 757 that were reported, and they said that a lot of those obviously were misidentified. They try to pin a lot of them on Starlink. A lot of them are planes, and that's true. A lot of them are.
A lot of them are morons.
Just things that people see, and with all the hype and everything, everybody's like, So, but
how was that?
Like that. But some interesting things about it were that 49 were recorded at altitudes of at least 100 kilometers, which is 62 miles, which is officially classified as space. So out of all of these unidentified sightings, 49 of them were so far into space that...
But instead of saying... some of these were in space, which means they were astronauts, which means these are very highly credible people. They said...
They just said they were unexplained.
They're like, these were 62 miles, so they're classified.
They just claimed that the witnesses included commercial military pilots along with ground-based observers. So they didn't really tell anything new.
Yeah, but there was a cool quote, and we've heard him say some quotes, but Lou Elizondo kind of summed it up at the Congress in November. He said, "Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made of our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe." Now, he said this, and within a week or two, that's when it really blew up with the drones. And, that's one of the biggest problems with it is it seems like they're focusing on military installations. They're focusing on infrastructure. And, that's always been a high concern. And going back to the Minuteman missiles, the nukes that they were in the late 60s, there was reports of UFOs. So that were coming over military bases and where they're keeping nukes. And these guys, 100%, they know they're telling the truth. They come out, they could be thrown in jail for saying lies about this stuff. They're coming out, and it was knocking us offline. There's been reports of averting possible nuclear war during the Cold War.
Right.
Because of UFOs turning off, things and bringing them offline. So some of the most interesting stories out there are all revolving around this type of phenomenon. And one of the other theories out there, Wes, has been maybe these are aliens, and they're stepping in to prevent something bad happening, to prevent, they see something that looks like it's headed in a certain way. And just to remind some people, hey, we're the ones that control that switch.
Right.
The question with that is, okay, let's say that why New Jersey and not Washington, D.C.?
That's a good question. So I could really blow your mind right now with, so you talk about looking too far into a picture. So you watch a lot of TikTok and stuff. Have you seen the guy showing the coast of New Jersey and showing what the Giants
the Giants wrote into the ground?
So it's one of those things where I was like, this guy is stoned out of his mind. I'm not even going to look it up. So I look over and Stacey's already looked it up.
I have to. I mean, when somebody's showing me something that they found on Google Earth, I pull up my Google Earth. I'm like, I want to see this for myself. I want to see what they're looking at. And I went to this place in New Jersey that he was talking about. And I mean, I don't know what it is. It looks like maybe somebody irrigated the ground. So there's all these straight lines but it's swampland. So I don't really know.
Farmer would know.
Yeah, I don't know. But then there's like all of these things that look like, I don't even know how to describe it. He claims that they look like lines.
It looks like writing.
So it looks like writing, like some kind of weird script.
When you're looking down at it, there are lines like you're looking at notebook paper. And there is what looks like writing. And I'm not talking about just a little bit, not 2 or 3. It looks like pages were carved into the ground.
Okay.
And it's pretty insane looking. But just, that made me think about New Jersey. I don't believe this for a minute. This is not one of the ones that I even close to subscribe to, but I will send you that stuff later.
Because it's
and anybody listening out there, look that up. So look up script written on the ground. What was the name of the place that
you'd have to look up that creek. I don't remember the name of it.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
It's weird though. I will say though, with the Pentagon report, the reason that it's so frustrating is because this is how they give you the information. It says in 3 separate cases, military air crews reported being followed by unidentified aircraft. However, investigators found no evidence linking them to any foreign power. That's it. That's all they said. It's not a foreign power.
Yeah. So
they didn't say what it was.
Right now, why New Jersey? I think anybody who's ever been to New Jersey asks that question continuously about it could be the answer to anything about New Jersey.
Yeah, true.
But it's weird, man. I mean, and it's way too many sightings to dismiss it. Even putting out there the people that are just now seeing planes and realizing that they're in the sky. It's
I did see a news report about a lot of people reporting helicopters now.
oh yeah.
I think they didn't do it over Washington D.C. because they would be forced.
But there
to
was
take action.
There was something over Washington D.C. in the past few weeks, though.
Well, yeah, but not like it's been in New Jersey.
No. But there was in the airspace it shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the second time this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there are sightings out there, and they get covered up quick. And even if on these reports, Wes, if you go back and you just look up drones, New Jersey, on Google, on your Google machine, and you'll see the national news stories, and those are going to stop on November 18th. They stop on the latest one that I could find was November 20th, because I keep up with that kind of stuff. When has that been shut off? And so if you just look up, drones, New Jersey or drones, UAP, whatever, they're big news stories from like your, big national world companies and all this. It's tons of stories on November 18th, tons of stories November 19th, and Associated Press had something on November 20th. Which was kind of summarizing things, and it's been few and far between since then. However, the sightings have been triple that number since then. And that's what's really strange is the big stories. It's like they covered it for a second, and then they were like, nah.
They covered it seriously though. Like they didn't play like
yeah they did
the X-Files music.
Well, okay, we're getting ready to go to our movie review, but before we go, I want to read this headline that I just got off the Google machine a few days ago. Fox News: former defense official makes earth-shattering UFO revelation as unexplained drones leave millions on edge.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, not everybody's ignoring it. Movie review.
Hey, Scarefest, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. You know what drives me crazy? In the holidays, you want to listen to holiday music. And I get it. I don't want to listen to it in October and November, but I get it. But the thing is like Mix 94 or whatever, it all stops on December 26th. And I'm recording this on December 26th. And I'm off for a few days, and this is when I want to enjoy the holidays. I know Christmas was yesterday, and some of you all may feel this way too. You may still be looking for like that Christmas horror film because you're still in the holiday spirit. And I'm good with that until January 2nd, and then all the way out the door. I still have a couple of holiday gatherings. The Bonehead Party. Well, Christmas party. Hopefully I'll be 3 sheets to the wind when you're watching this live Friday night. Hopefully. That being said, enjoy your Christmas break. You can watch another Christmas movie, and especially a horror one. And I have one for you today. It's called Better Watch Out. It's from 2016. It is on Peacock and Tubi and a few of the other ones. It's fairly accessible. It's a movie from Universal Pictures I never even bothered to see or don't even remember it coming out. Basically, a really good actress named Olivia DeJonge, she also plays Priscilla in the new Elvis movie, or the one that came out a couple of years ago, comes to a regular babysitter job, and then what happens is, while she's babysitting her 12-year-old, well, one of his friends shows up, and then there's some intruders that break in, and there's a home invasion, and it just goes from there. Now, there's a twist, of course. Pretty sure you can see the twist coming, most of you, but it doesn't ruin it, and the twist happens fairly early in the movie. So just when you think it's safe for the holiday, her and her little boy Luke, the boy that she's babysitting, have a lot going on. And these two 12-year-old boys, they've got dirty mouths. And the mom and dad are actually really funny when they're played by Patrick Warburton and Virginia Madsen. You look them up, and they've got a lot of great lines. It's not a terribly written film. I enjoyed it. And the third act, I won't say anything, like you know what I'm going to say, but it does pay off for the most part. It's a little bit of a stretch towards the end, actually. I think they went a little bit out of their way. I think there's another way. Watch it, come back to me of how I would have ended it. But that's it. It's, it's the babysitter killers or the babysitter murderers or when a stranger calls or something like that. You think that's what it's going to be, and then it turns into something a little bit different. And not a lot of people make it out of this movie alive isn't giving it a lot away. You think, when does this get bloody? It gets bloody. When does this get, it gets rough. Watch it. It's actually kind of enjoy it, and it's a Christmas horror film I'd never seen before. It took me a while to find it, and then I started researching, and I didn't know the director, Chris Peckover, or the writer, Zach Kahn, or Chris Peckover. They did some smaller films, but I wasn't familiar with them. So check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Like I said, you better watch out. Better watch out. It's only an hour and 29 minutes with credits. Honestly, it's only about an hour and 22 minutes. It's not a huge, and the acting is really good. It's not a huge investment, and the acting is really good. This is one of those Christmas movies. It's just the right amount. It's just the right amount. It could almost have been PG-13, but it's not. It's got some blood in it, and it's got some people dispatched. Better watch out. It's on Peacock, but it's also, I think, on Tubi and a few other things. I totally missed it when it came out in 2016. Maybe some of you have already seen it. Totally missed it. So check out Better Watch Out. Just because the holidays are over doesn't mean you still can't watch Christmas movies. This has been Joe Lewis. While you're watching this, remember, I am hopefully going to be at Chad's house having a good time. Thank you all so much for the great year. See you next year, Scarefest.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. Tonight we're mostly talking drones. We're talking about the stuff that happened the weird news stories from 2024. But by golly, this one is still hanging on.
Yeah, it is dominating the news, but I know we don't have a lot of time left, so Stacey's
we can run along. But
she's going to hit some of the some of the highlights, some of the stories from 2024, so we can live up to our.
I just brought a few that I thought were pretty memorable from the past.
And you just tell us when you want to know something more about it, then we can bring it up. But you got to talk about.
Well, I'm just here to make snarky comments and go.
Okay. Well, first let's talk about the Pope first, because that just happened, because that was a Christmas thing. So this is the year where he does the thing where he opens the portals, actually just doors, because next year's a Jubilee year, and so they do this ceremony every 25 years where they open doors and they leave them open for the whole year for pilgrimage, and it's like a sign of hope and things like that. But there was a lot of articles
That's what
going
my
around.
counselor used to tell me he's doing.
Is that
Little John, we're opening portals today.
There were a lot of stories going around saying that he was going to open, Lucifer's door or the devil's tomb or whatever. I mean, it was a lot of clickbait.
That sounds amazing.
It does. I wish he had done that.
Yeah, if it's like, it sounds like Indiana Jones and something, like the devil's tomb. We're going to open up the Lucifer's door.
No, it's so funny. The Vatican's so funny because this is something they do every 25 years, but there's so much ceremony. Like they wall up the door and they put the keys in like an iron box inside another iron box and stick it in the wall and wall it up for 25 years. And there's this whole ceremony to, exhume the keys and then take all the wall down and then unlock the door. It's so crazy. But they've opened the one at
That's how you can tell it's a business that is all the decision making is the patriarchy there. So when you get a bunch of dudes together, they're like, let's wall it up and put the key in the llama's ass.
Right. Nobody will find it. So basically the first door was opened, I guess, on Christmas Eve at St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican. They had it all set up and the Pope knocked and then the door opened.
So what's the special? Is there something different about this one?
There is. The different one about this is this year, normally it's 4 doors that they open. And this year they're opening a 5th door at a prison in Rome, which they did that one already. Now there's still 3 more doors that have to be open that haven't been done yet, but they did the one at the Vatican, and then they did the one at the prison in Rome.
When's it supposed to be completed?
January 5th will be the last door.
Oh, that's interesting, Tommy.
And then
when do we confirm the presidency?
And then all the doors
January 6th.
Something like that. Then all the doors stay open for a whole year. So it's not as nefarious as people made it sound.
Could be nefarious.
It could be. It could be nefarious.
We'll find out, won't we?
All right. So one of my favorite stories from this year was from South Carolina. And this was...
You don't go hear that every year.
The monkeys that escaped.
Yes, I love the monkey story.
Oh my gosh. Over 40 monkeys escaped from a research facility, and authorities, I loved when the research facility came out because they were like, oh, somebody accidentally left a door open and some monkeys got out, but these are not the monkeys that we test on with deadly viruses.
No, these are the ones that we test on with the cure for Alzheimer's disease, like in the damn movie.
Yeah, and kind of funny the aliens show up after this happens. and they're just like, we have to prevent this. Holy shit! But
a little bit too late.
So the TikTok you were talking about, the TikTok, you're talking about Reels. Have you seen the video of the guy in South Carolina that just over the last couple of days, he's in his backyard, it's nighttime, and he's like, I don't know what is in these trees, but it's huge, it's gigantic, and you can hear the limbs breaking.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen that?
No, I have not. I have not seen that.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Crazy. And like big parts of the tree are just breaking off and falling, but you don't see anything.
So the guy never puts two and two together that I bet there's 40 monkeys back there.
No. Now they've caught most of the monkeys. They've caught all but 4 of them.
Those 4.
Yeah. And they have seen those 4. Like those 4 are it's 4 females and they're kind of hanging out together and they're sort of near the research facility. And they're just staking it out to try and free their friends. I don't know what's happening. But they see them and they're trying to just wait for them to get into the traps. I don't know what makes them think they're going to get into the traps, but I don't know. But this research facility, it's called the Alpha Genesis Primate Research Center, has now it's being looked into. It's being investigated. You know, there's a lot of allegations that have come out now, and that research center does do research on monkeys, and they do research with deadly viruses.
They're like, okay, no more monkey business, you guys.
So I don't know. I think it's really
coming
fun.
soon to a pandemic near you.
I just think it was funny that they were like, immediately they were like, we swear these monkeys are too young. They just happened to get out because the door was left open. We swear nothing's going on.
So you got to tell them your favorite story, because this is your favorite story of the year.
Oh,
I heard about this one so much.
I love this story. So this is a story that was from back in like July, I believe. And this is the one from France where the sword went missing that was stuck in the side of a cliff. Did you hear about this story?
Not since like the guy that got to rule England because of it.
No. So this is supposedly the Durandal sword. It's a legend that goes back to, I believe the story started with Charlemagne got this, magical sword and handed it down to a guy named Roland. And there's like this epic poem, like the story of Roland, where they talk about, it's called the Song of Roland, excuse me, where Roland's in this battle and he has this magical sword that can split boulders, and you can't you can't break it. It's indestructible, but they were losing the battle and he decided that he didn't want the enemy to get this sword. So he flung it. And because it was a magical sword, it went really, really far and it embedded itself in the side of this cliff in this little town in France. And it's been there for 1,300 years. So one day somebody's coming out of wherever it's at and they look up and it's gone. And this thing is like, they're over 30 feet up a sheer cliff, chained to the cliff, embedded in the stone. They have no idea who took it or how somebody just climbed up there and stole it. They still don't know.
But now they rule the country.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was getting ready. They should be ruling.
The lady in the lake came back for her shit.
Oh, that watery tart. Yeah.
All right. So let's see what else happened. Did you hear about Bobby Mackey's?
Of course he did.
God.
He probably pulled it down himself.
Bobby Mackey's.
Oh my God! Yeah, the river ran red after they tore it down. Yeah, no, it's.
Did somebody say that?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I did get into I did observe a lot of back and forth about where will all the demons go now.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, they'll stay there with
the land. we've got a good answer on that one. So we investigated where a very famous place was in Johnson City, Tennessee. There was a very famous old hospital, and all the kids, we used to all break in there at, that as much as we could.
It was the local urban legend.
Yeah, it was the local place, like the birthday house kind of thing that everybody has. So, but this was the first Johnson City hospital. So in Johnson City, Tennessee, it was very haunted. Very haunted. You always got stuff there. So we went and investigated the grounds. We got actual permission once we grew up.
Yeah, because they tore it down. Like it was really dangerous, and people kept breaking in. And so the family made the decision to have the building demolished, even though it was such a court. I cried, but it was really the safest option, and they couldn't really afford to fix it up. So they made the decision to have it demolished. So the only thing on the land was a few like stones from the foundation, like literally nothing, but we knew someone from that family and she gave us permission to actually go on the property and, investigate the foundation, just what was left, the ruins, the land. So
Yeah, and what did we catch?
this is the place where we got one of my favorite EVPs. John says, "Is there anything we can do for you," or something like that? And we got an EVP that said, "We're not in need of helping," and it was like very clear, but
Very intelligent,
and it sounded kind of you could tell it was an EVP. Like, it sounded very like.
But we also
robotic
got
maybe.
beeps and at this complete ground, just ground.
Mm-hmm.
But we had like the hospital sounds.
Oh yeah, like the machinery noises,
Yeah.
like you would expect to hear at a hospital, that sort of thing. So it was almost like for those spirits, the hospital was still there,
Yeah,
even though it wasn't there physically.
everything, whatever they've built in their construct,
Mhm.
that was still exactly like it was when they died.
Well, yeah, and to layer that over Bobby Mackey's, like now some of the reports, like the I don't remember if it was a man or a woman. I think it's a woman. Walks down a staircase that was tore out years and years ago. Goes
Mhm.
from basically the stage area down to the basement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
she's there, that'll be where she hangs out because, like you said, she's observing the construct. Now,
Right.
the drunks that got killed up on the highway might just go ahead and cross over.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Exactly.
I believe, see, what they've done is they've moved to another building temporarily, but I think their plan is to rebuild on the same property, like to open in 2026. It's what I've read. I don't know if that's going to happen. I know that they've temporarily opened in another city.
I'm just gonna say I will be terribly, terribly surprised if that place is rebuilt as a honky tonk or whatever.
Oh my God.
I believe that's the plan.
I
but
didn't
who
know that
knows?
was even the plan.
Yeah, that's
Or-
what
That's a terrible idea.
it says. They plan to open a new building and club on the original site by 2026. So
Yeah. I'm with Wes.
who knows? I don't know if that's actually
Yeah.
going to happen, but
First of all, and okay, nothing against Bobby Mackey, but he's not a spring chicken.
Right.
Okay,
True.
you
Yeah.
know, and I don't know if he has kids or not, but in other words, I'm just saying, I think it's I don't think he needs to invest his money
Mhm.
in
No.
a new building.
I
No,
agree.
No, I agree.
And I don't think
I think the lot might be worth quite a bit that he could,
Absolutely. You could probably get something good.
Oh, I mean, the location. I mean,
Mhm.
it's so close to,
Nothing.
that's the thing.
it's really not close to anything.
Well, you could see Cincinnati.
Yeah, you can smell it from there.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, that's not.
I'm just saying, from a look, there's stuff over there. Yeah, but no, it is kind of a nasty place.
The only other stories I have from the year, we're going to record our last show of the year soon, and we've got a couple of really good stories, some cattle mutilations, things that happen right here at the end of the year. But they did find some more things in the permafrost. You know how the permafrost is melting, and they're finding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this past year, they found a wolf carcass, like 44,000-year-old wolf carcass. They found 32,000-year-old remains of a tiny saber-toothed cat cub. And now they've just recently found a 50,000-year-old woolly mammoth, juvenile mammoth. And, they're trying to bring the mammoth back. And this time they found one that is almost completely intact, trunk and everything, which they were amazed about because normally once those things thaw out, the trunk's the first thing to go because it's so soft.
It's soft tissue.
Yeah. But not this one. This one's almost completely intact. They haven't even tested it yet. It's that new of a find. So.
They've already done it.
I'm surprised they haven't cloned
They
the saber cat and the wolf and the mammoth.
They've done it. They've done it all. And if they haven't done it here, they've done it somewhere, China, where they have no morals or, they don't care about laws.
But we've made like 5-6 movies trying to tell them what a terrible, terrible idea this is.
I wrote a whole album about it in the 90s.
Right.
Just when they did Dolly the sheep, it drove me insane.
I meant to interject this when you guys were talking about AI. I forgot about this. There was a story this year from South Korea about a government robot that worked there, AI, and it was like it worked in the building, and they worked that robot so much that it threw itself down a flight of stairs. and they consider it the first AI robot suicide. I swear this happened in like June or July. Like it worked, and it it delivered things around the office. It could take the elevator. Like it knew how to take the elevator, had its own card. They considered it an employee.
No.
And the only thing they could figure is that it worked so much that instead of taking the elevator once, it like made circles around the staircase for a while, like going back and forth, like it was thinking about it. Yeah. And then deliberately threw itself off the stairs.
That is terrible.
I'm not saying it's right, but I get it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. State employee.
So I think honestly, and I'm glad you said that about AI. So one of the biggest stories is happening right under our feet and right under our noses without being as much of a headline as it probably should be. But the sheer the artificial intelligence coming to the point that it's come to, even if you go back six-month intervals, 1 year intervals, and you look at how much it's come, it is insane to me because non-playable characters on a video game. Now, this is how far it's reached. You can play a game now in VR. I was just looking at it the other day, a game that I played for years, but it's like, oh yeah, now you can let the NPCs know that they're alive or they're in a game. And so people do that, and it uses Chat GPT technology, so it uses their whole backstory, and all of a sudden this character comes to life. And it can have a conversation with you while you're in VR, but it thinks that it's actually Wolfric or whatever, Stormcloak,
Right.
And it just knows the backstory that we've programmed in. Whatever we've typed in, whatever designers have typed in and given this thing, well, that's what it thinks it is. That's what it thinks. And that really messed with my mind so bad because to this thing, it's John Edwards. It's been married to Stacey for a wonderful amount of years.
It follows the story that you give it.
For the story, yeah.
As you're going through the game, it learns that story, and
that's when it really hit me. We've talked about this, and I've laughed at this, and I've scoffed at this, and I was like, there is no way, buddy. It's no matter what, you guys are thinking too much about this. And then I start thinking, how easily, with what I've seen with AI, how easily we could actually be in that simulation that we've had people talk about that now for years, Wes. And it's just crazy because you're just given this information, and even like with history, right? We could all just be thinking history happened, and
because it was programmed in there.
Yeah, it's programmed in there. I don't know, man. It's
if that is the case, the graphics are fucking fantastic.
Oh, they are just incredible. So they say that it's not all rendering at the same time. So there's a whole theory on that. So
there is a story that we're going to do on our next show coming up where some flat earthers actually took a trip to Antarctica.
Yes.
Did you see this?
Yes.
They wanted to prove, because with the flat earth theory, during that time of the year when the sun is visible all the time, I guess the way the theory works is if it's visible all the time in the Arctic, it should not exist in the Antarctic, right? There shouldn't be one. So they spent tens of thousands of dollars, and they took a trip to the Antarctic and to observe the sun and prove that it wasn't there. And they live streamed it, and they were proved wrong. And two of them were even like, I guess we were wrong about this. That doesn't mean we're wrong about the whole thing. Like,
and then a couple of them went to join that robot. And their
own followers, like other flat earthers, started turning on them. Like,
yes, that's what tickled me.
You're not really there.
Yeah, this is a studio.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, their own other flat earthers decided that because they were showing that different to what they believed, that obviously it was fake, and they blamed them.
There's a bigger story there, buddy.
Gosh, it was crazy. I don't have it in front of me. I got it ready for the show.
It's like I have some friends in politics, like some friends that are so devout in their political beliefs, and I'm not going to get political and say I'm one side, whatever. But they were so devout in their political beliefs that they could ignore things where people came out and go, oh yeah, we lied about that. Oh, we lied about that. And we lied about that. No, we made that one. We're actually kind of proud of that one. I can't believe that one stuck. And they can still look at you with a straight face and go, yeah.
It amazes you how hard people believe things.
But this person said this, like, no, you silly banana. That's not how this works. How could you even give this any? But it's some kind of mental illness, honestly, and that's sad.
It's something. I couldn't believe it when
People
I got to
get so devout that they don't want to be wrong.
To the part of the story where people were actually accusing them of lying. People that they were in, they all believed the same thing. It was
they're going through the footage inch by inch, looking at the shadows and saying, "Oh, see, you can't throw a shadow that direction."
And and at least two of the guys that went down there, they were like, they at least admitted, hey, I didn't expect this to be like this. I guess I was wrong.
Why is this a thing?
No.
Well, this is why did flat Earth become a thing? Why do people think that the mud flood happened? Like, why do people that don't know shit about history too? They get on there and they're like,
well, the latest thing that we see, you see, this used to be a building underneath, and there is no way that created this. And
it drives me insane. I'm like, no, that's actually because the part of the building that is up here, they needed to make it look like it wasn't the 1920s anymore.
Right.
The part that's down there, well, we don't need to fix up the part that's under the dirt. So it just the mud flood drives me insane. And there are so many people that think that we are being lied to, and we are being lied to about a innumerable amount of things.
Right.
I agree. But and I'm with you on the mud flood. That would at least survive through our oral history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My granddad would have been talking about that.
Right.
Well, one of the first times you were ever on our show, I remember, and I don't remember much, but I remember one of the things I loved about you was we were the same about, it's great to have an open mind, but don't let your brain fall out. It was kind of like, it's good to have an open mind, and it's good to listen to everybody's theories and take them in, push them a little bit, try, but don't,
right. Don't lose it.
Don't get too flat earthed about it.
Right.
So
that's a good way to put that.
And any flat earthers out there, I don't apologize.
They do. They have occasionally listened to the show because I was interviewing a celebrity one night and I made a comment about it, and I thought we disproved it during Christopher Columbus. Just being the comedian.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought. Yeah. No, he flamed me on fucking YouTube. Jeez, my mom told me there'd be people with no sense of humor, but
my favorite thing that's ever happened was years ago. I got attacked by the Catholic Church for my inflammatory comments.
Well, see, now you don't. Once you get into politics and religion, you're on both third rails.
Because I made fun of how strange I thought it was to have saint brains that get sent around, as a holy object.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
and so the holy saint brains was one of those things in a jar or whatever that just really, it was beyond me to think about having armed guards taking this dude's brain from continent to continent or whatever, and it being such a big deal and a holy artifact or whatever.
I think there was something else about blood that was supposed to liquefy or something thing that they do, and maybe it doesn't always do it, and they're like, well, it just didn't do it this time, but I don't know, it was just so funny the way they did it. Like, supposedly it's this miracle that happens, but sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it doesn't happen
when it's on camera.
Blood. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, basically.
So I'm pretty sure we made pretty decent amount of fun of that too.
Listen, I'll make fun of anybody and anything, and I expect them to do the same to me, so nothing but love.
Well, we'll close the show out with a little advice. Hey, Kentuckians, the drones have copper in them. Everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. I hope you enjoyed our little excursion into the weird and unknown for 2024. We'll be back, theoretically, we'll be back next week with Brandon and Adrian, and who knows, they might even start rolling out announcements. See you later.